Good afternoon, guys. What is going on? So today's video is going to be a little bit shorter. So today's video is more about a topic rather than like a vlog like I normally do. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So let's talk about exhausts, and most importantly, just because the reason I'm making this video is this is the third job I've had this week that is doing this, and I figured we would touch on what exactly it is and why you need it. So here in my hand, this is a flex pipe. If you don't know what a flex pipe is, it does exactly as it sounds. It flexes. I mean, I can barely flex with my hands, but you get the point. This is here to be placed somewhere in your exhaust system to absorb vibration and allow movement in the exhaust. So some people think that rubber hangers are enough, but they are actually not. So kind of digging into that, the three jobs, this is my third one. So behind me here is a, I don't even know, EM1, EK Civic. I don't think it's an EM1, but EK Civic with a B series engine in it. And he asked me to, because he's changing the header. So the header that's on there right now looks to be like the OE style one. Well, I mean, it's actually a DC Sports one, which copies the OE style. Now, the OE style exhausts use a donut gasket. So the donut gasket is what you can use to get away with not having to use something like this, because the exhaust can pivot around. I don't have one here. It can pivot around the donut like that. Like if this is your back half of your exhaust, this is your donut gasket. It's just normal 2-bolt flange. You can get a little bit of room just like that. So in this case, this guy wants V-bands, so I'm going to be adding a V-band to this header. So basically, he's changing header to this one, and this one already has a V-band. I'm going to chop this one off and TIG on something nicer, because this is one of the cheaper style ones, and this thing's actually warped. I can see just by looking at it. So we're going to be doing that and adding this flex pipe to that header. Now, it's a pretty simple process. Literally, in this case, we're just chopping and welding. So I don't think I will be actually adding the flex pipe to the header, because the header does not look to be 2.5 inch. I will measure it really quick to make sure, because this is a 2.5 inch inner diameter flex pipe. But yeah, these are very important, because without these, that's what causes your exhaust to break. Now, a lot of the times, exhaust shops don't like to add these, or they don't because of people being cheap, whatever. So, I mean, my assumption is that something like this pulls into your exhaust shop. They're just like, oh, I want to straight pipe my Civic. You're like, okay, whatever, another one of those Ricer kids. So you're just kind of gonna do what he says. Whatever, if you don't want to upsell them on a flex pipe, if you even offer those, you're just probably, most of the cars that I see that I fix, I get these exhaust shop ones where it's booger welded with some aluminized steel pipe straight through all the way back. They end up chopping the flange at the header completely off. Instead of reusing any flanges or offering them a flange, they'll chop the flange off at the header and weld the exhaust straight back all the way to the tip. No joints, no disconnect points. So if you ever want to take the exhaust off, you either got to drop the rear control arm or cut it in sections. But they never ever add a flex joint, and they always end up breaking. Like I just fixed a CRV this week that did that. I just added a flex pipe to a Case Bob Civic that needed one, and now we're doing it on this one because this is one of those situations where it calls for one, because again, we're using a V-band, which the V-band does not allow for any slop. The rubber hangers do not allow you to compensate enough. So I'm going to get this thing up in the air, and I'm going to take some measurements really quick on these calipers, and we will attach this, and I will just run through this really quick, the process of installing it, and that'll be it. All right, so measuring this, this is an outer diameter of 2.43. This is an inner diameter on the flex pipe of like a 2.49, so it's close enough. I can just always tap around the edges to fill the gap up, and then we add the V-band on the end of that. Then we get the car up in the air, and we chop the flange or whatever is on there on the current exhaust, and he requests that I add the other side of the V-band onto that, so it all bolts up like stock. So this here, this is the, well, what's supposed to be your donut gasket. So you can kind of see, I mean, why they call it a donut gasket. Folks see up there, it's very covered in carbon, so it's hard to see it because it doesn't want to focus too well on it, but you get the idea. It just, the tapered thing lets you get some slop in there. This isn't even the right one. This one's way too big for this header. But yeah, you get the idea. I don't know why they cut the O2, but yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm going to get this. Well, I'm gonna test fit the header first, make sure it even fits, and then he does have some sort of janky-ish test pipe, so I'm gonna have to end up chopping the test pipe to, you know, change the flange from the donut gasket style flange to the V-band, which, if you don't know what a V-band is for some reason, would be this guy. So basically 2 halves, and then you get a clamp to clamp it all together instead of bolts. Very efficient, very nice. But yeah, I'm gonna get that done and we'll keep moving. And just like that, we got this thing all finished up, put back together. I did have to pull the AC line a little bit out of the way, and it looks like it's honestly kind of touching like the very tippy edge of the factory fan shroud, but it's in there. So yeah, that's basically my little explanation / install video on this flex pipe. Run flex pipe, run a donut gasket, some sort of flexible joint inside of your system, flex bellow, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's the importance of it and whatnot. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you've considered subscribing. If you want to help support the channel, I do have Amazon affiliate links, a Patreon, a big cartel where you can purchase some of my products and my merch and such. And anyways, guys, I got some more work to do this afternoon, so I'm gonna go get that in order, and we'll see you in the next one. Do what you love, forget about the rest, have a good rest of your day, peace out.